Hello, everyone. My name is Alex O'Neill, and we are sitting down together for the first time, hopefully of many times, to watch the Spelunky 2 trailer together. I'm going to be going through it bit by bit and breaking down everything I see, everything I notice. For folks that don't know, product of irrationalpassions.com. Video is courtesy of Sony. Just for full disclosure, I've watched this trailer 3 times now. I've honestly not watched it nearly as much as I wanted to, but I'm ready to kind of go through it bit by bit. If you watched our Last of Us Part 2 gameplay breakdown, it's going to be very similar. This is the very end of the trailer, and I'm just watching it in QuickTime Player on my computer, so we're going to just go through it. Y'all won't be able to hear music here, but I can. And the only reason I bring that up, this first little segment here, which we're going through frame by frame, has the infamous music from Hell, the secret fifth world in Spelunky 1 playing. First, like, out of the gate, this is the first time we've seen Spelunky 2 being played. All we kind of glimpsed from that teaser trailer back at PSX or Game Awards, wherever it was in December, was, I think it was like before their PSX conference, their like pre-show or whatever. It might have been Paris Games Week also. I honestly don't know. Don't really care. This is Spelunky. But all we kind of gleamed was that it would be probably set in space or on the moon, and that it had the kind of child of the Spelunky guy as one of the playable characters, which isn't like super important. I don't think Spelunky's like necessarily super story heavy. It's more like world building heavy. But we see here a world that seems very similar to Hell. If anybody played as much Spelunky as I did, which is to say an unhealthy amount, probably about over 1,000 hours locked in for me easily, you know that this is very similar to Hell. There's lava. We've got these little devil guys carrying the little fireballs in the pots, and the lava ball kind of forms up into a fireman, or like in this case it looks more like a sludge guy. The art style is a little bit different, which I like how it looks, and we see kind of like the collapsing platforms, which we saw a lot in the ice caves, and in Hell from Spelunky 1. And we also got new traps here, these little spike balls that when you stand under them, they're still for a second, then they drop. We also see a lot of familiar stuff, right? We got the shotgun, we have a jetpack, we're playing that character that we saw at the end of that teaser trailer. We see the explosive traps, like the little boxes. We see a caveman who looks even more silly, Spelunky style. It's generally like very familiar, but also very new, which I really like. The big thing that we see, because this opening bit's pretty short, and trust me, we're getting deep into here. We see this guy riding what looks like a goat dog thing, and we jump on his head, and then jump on the goat. Also, I'm just noticing here there's like some conveyor belts over on the left. So that, again, just another new thing. I think we see those a little bit later as well. But then we start riding this goat guy, these little robot guys, which look like a little bit like the robot DLC character like costume that you could play as in the Spelunky 1. We see them a little bit later as well. There's like a little button on their head that you can jump on their head, and then they start going, and then they'll eventually explode. But yeah, this is the first time mounted combat in Spelunky, which is fun. Generally, it makes me wonder, because like obviously I'm not playing it. I will be playing this at PAX West this weekend, which I'm pretty excited about, and I'll have more thoughts there. Thought about waiting to record this until after I played it to give a little bit more context, but I'm down for whatever. I wonder if the dogs or the mounts like run automatically, and you just tell them when to jump, and like what direction to go in. I don't know. It's hard to say, because they do move very, very fast, and they have basically an additional jump and you can jump off of them. We'll see that later in the trailer, kind of like Yoshi. But we can see with the jetpack, the mounts are very fast, jump very far on their own, and are unstoppable. Little ladybug or beetle-looking guy, enemy. Much like normal enemies, it jumps on. You can jump on its head, and it's fine. What's cool about this guy is, like the monkey from Spelunky 1, it can climb on ropes. It looks like, in this case, a chain, which there weren't many enemies. Here we see the animal that we're riding, goat guy, take fall damage, which is interesting that you'll have mounts and they can take fall damage. We also see the exit here, and the bats, the antagonist of Spelunky, the true evil of Spelunky. And more funnily, we see a turkey, which is funny. It seems like there's a lot more like ancillary creatures in the world, which is cool, like these mount guys, which I bet these guys could probably hurt you if you don't jump on them and ride them. But like the turkeys, I doubt can hurt you. But here we see shooting the turkey. Here's my thing. So this is clearly like a gold skull trap. I don't know if it's one of those things where as soon as you touch the gold skull or the gold idol, it sets off the trap, kind of like in Spelunky before, or if shooting the idol here causes the trap to go off. But it causes all three of these things to explode. And then we get hit by the bat, of course, because bats are terrible. And then we try and take the idol, and then we die. Which I love that this trailer just kind of opens with a death. Big thing here, though, liquid physics, which were not in Spelunky at all. If you just like bombed a wall to the left or right of a body of water or a body of lava, the lava just disappeared. And it was just gone forever. Here, and we'll see it with water later, it goes somewhere. And I really like that. I think it's super cool, especially like when we see the lava here just kind of like stagnating around. But yeah, then we're given the Mossmouth. I'll just let it play for a little bit here. We see the little spaceship, Spelunky girl and Spelunky dog come down, and then hitting down and pressing the top button, presumably triangle, since this is the PS4 version, dropping that rope, which is cool to see that's back. And then we just kind of go right into it. And there's like a lot of scenes here, a lot of different areas. What's cool here is like, so this is the first area we see the traps, like the arrow traps, and like these creepy skull things in these little huts. I assume this is going to be the first area, but we really don't know. And then we see a nice whip. Whip, obviously a little bit more detailed. The animation, awesome. Looks like it still has like that back hit. Still goes out just as far. And then we see snakes. Also, snakes look different now. On the background here, we see the little porcupine, four-legged creature, which could be one of the creatures you run around here. Run around on, I should say. We see these guys, which are like the tiki traps from the jungle in Spelunky 1, but they punch you out, which is interesting. The tiki traps were like infamously like way overpowered, I think. Like they do 4 damage. You see them in the second world, and they stun you, and they can stun lock you really easily if you're lucky enough to have more than 4 health. So seeing these guys presumably in World 1 is really cool. We also see a little pug in the upper left corner and a crate on the left there as well. So again, a lot of the returning staples to Spelunky, stuff that I knew would be coming back, but it's cool to see it in the new art style, things like that. Then we see this weird like rodent mole creature, mole rat, crawl out of the ceiling and come at us, which is cool. It gives the feeling that enemies can maybe come out of more places. You see this guy crawl out of the floor and we jump on him so we don't take damage. I like that even if we jump on his face, we don't take damage, but it looks like he didn't take damage. And I wonder if those are creatures that you can ride. I don't know. We hit a snake here and keep going. And this goes pretty breakneck again. So we jump on this guy's like right on the front of his nose, and hit him. So maybe that means you can't ride him. Maybe it's like you didn't jump in the right spot to ride it. I don't know. And you can see this like a little pill bug crawling around on the little platform on the left there, which is cool. Again, more like creatures filling up that world. We also see like a creepy looking bat thing right under Spelunky Girl here, which I don't know what that is. Second area we see here, again, much like the jungle, just like this area is much like the mines. So I'm assuming this is the second area. And if it follows a similar path as Spelunky 1, I think that's cool. I definitely feel like I get the sense that in this there might not be a World 1, World 2, World 3, etc., etc. Like, I feel like it can go out of order more easily, which I think is really rad, actually. But yeah, here we see like a shaman-like character, and he's got this ghost skull that hurts us. And then you see that like very creepy skull pop up, and now we're all gray, which I don't know what that means. Very quick here. I feel like this probably means something. There's a lot of different like systems that play, like karmatic systems that play in the background of Spelunky, like Kali and sacrificing a Kali, and different states the character can be in that can cause different events and things like that. It really is mostly based on the one thing in Spelunky 1, so I wonder if like getting hit by this specific attack puts you in a state that maybe accesses a different area or causes different things. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. Again, the mystery of Spelunky is always the best part. Co-op is back, which is fun. Here we see Spelunky Girl riding the little goat guy in the mines, which is cool. We also see a golden key in the bottom right there. Very important. Got chests to open. I assume there will probably be more keys and more chests in this game, like more than just one in the mines, which I'd be okay with. And I bet there would be a reason to carry a key through multiple levels that isn't just shortcut related in this game. Just kind of, again, leaning into the mechanics of Spelunky. What's cool, the original Spelunky, and kind of fleshing them out. What's cool here is also you see a double jump from the little goat guy. So presumably these goat guys can double jump, and so is the turkey. So we also see the bow and arrow for the first time. We're going to see that later, but you can ride that turkey, which I think is cool. Here's another one of those traps. Obviously, co-op is not something I played a lot of in the first game, but I did play a good amount of it. I even got toward the end of the game on a co-op run with my co-host Tony Horvath on Irrational Passions podcast. You go listen to that. But you can see the white flag indicating the kind of party leader. It's switched from one character to the other here, which can happen if one person dies. This is another one of the gold idol traps. You can see that same kind of creepy bat face on the ground of the idol. This is a infamous one, or a tricky one, because this giant trap just comes and crushes the person, which is great. I like that they toss it out so that their buddy can get it, and of course the white flag transfers to the new party leader, which is cool. Here we see more of the jungle. Again, it's very familiar to the jungle we saw in Spelunky 1, but just tons of new stuff going on here, like this spikish, viney wall on the right here. We see the tiki caveman with the boomerang. You see these little hornets or wasps or mosquito-like enemies that dive forward and like stick in people, and it kills our good explorer friend here. And online play, which is new to Spelunky, which is actually really cool. I assume, because we see here's online play, and we're seeing against the characters we're going to get kind of introduced to again to later. There's no white flag here, so I assume everyone kind of is their own party leader and has their own full screen, which is really huge and would make playing Spelunky way, way better in multiplayer. So that's really awesome. It was one of those things, like, if you would actually set up LAN play on Vita, and multiple people had Vita versions, like, essentially everyone could have their own full exploratory screen, and they wouldn't all be locked to the same shared screen, which was, like, the way to play multiplayer in Spelunky 1. But yeah, what's cool here, we see these kind of faded doors, and we walk through them to a new layer of the area, which this is huge. I think this means like levels can be multi-layered. This background area kind of looks like an underground cave in the jungles. So it's like maybe a secret area that you can only access through certain areas in the jungle. And on the right here, that layout of blocks, anyone who's played a ton of Spelunky knows that layout of blocks could be where one of the white idols, like the white crystal idols, which are worth more money, could be hidden. which could also imply something like the castle coming back from the first one and things like that. There's also a creepy little hornet enemy on the bottom right. What's cool here, we see a shopkeeper, obviously big. I like his little apron. But we see a ghost like charging up a power. In the original Spelunky, ghosts could just kind of blow enemies or blow other ally characters and just like knock them, make them dizzy. But they could also trigger traps and things like that, which was super huge. And they weren't crazy helpful was the thing. They more like got in the way and would accidentally hurt you. But here we see him like charge up and then freeze the shopkeeper. And a frozen enemy can be jumped on and killed. If we jump out here, we see that this kind of shop is a weapons shop. And we see a different kind of shotgun from the shopkeeper here. So multiple shotguns. Already great. We see spike boots, it looks like, off to the right, and an ice ray gun, freeze ray. Again, returning items from Spelunky, but it's cool to see them coming back. Here we see what looks like possibly a totally new area. It could be hell, because we see the same conveyor belts and chains that we saw from the very beginning. We see coffins here, which implies, like, hey, you can rescue, unlock new characters that way, which is how you did it in the original Spelunky. But also, that's how you can bring back an ally character from death. Things like that. We also see a total, I didn't even realize this before, this is a totally different kind of jetpack here. This purple jetpack, which looks very cool. We're gotten 4 people here. We see a golden bug in the upper left corner, again, returning items and creatures from Spelunky 1. But this purple jetpack seems to like have you hover directly forward, which is really rad. This part, I know we're probably getting to the end of the trailer. Oh, no, we're about halfway through. There's a lot to unpack here. Here is a really fun part where we're just tossing endless bombs at this big caveman guy. What was cool about Spelunky is there's kind of like boss enemies distributed throughout the different worlds. The mines didn't really have one, though. It had neither did the jungle, now that I think about it. I guess the jungle did. It had the big fish. But it had the giant spiders, but they weren't... There was just a lot of them. They weren't really special, like the Yeti from the Ice Caves, or Anubis and Anubis 2 from the temple, or things like that. But this guy looks like a big boss kind of enemy from the beginning. He has the hive of that... the hide of the big porcupine 4-legged creature that I pointed out earlier. It's a nice little foreshadowing there. I didn't even really realize that, so don't think I'm like super clever or anything. But yeah, we see bombs kind of working and operating the same way that we saw them before. You can toss a lot of them if you have a lot of them. And they blow up. And I'll say like the particle effects and everything of them exploding is really cool. But yeah, we see the people throwing the bombs also just kind of jumping into the fray, which is dumb but great. There's just multiplayer in Spelunky is always like manic and crazy. But yeah, this guy already also looks dead by the time the bombs blow up by just being hit by the bombs, which also does 1 damage. But it's great. Big thin Matic pickaxe pops out at the right there, so that's also another returning item. Then we're introduced to the characters here. Anna Spelunky, the presumed daughter of the Spelunky guy. What I love here, this is completely new area. We don't know what this is. It's very underwatery, which, judging, like by the bluish style, it seems like the way this is positioned, it could be like the third area, or basically a stand-in for the ice caves. But again, I don't know if it's going to play out linearly like that. It could be something, too, where, because Spelunky is obviously infamously randomly generated, when you go to World 2, it just randomly selects a world from all of the worlds that are possible, or the middle worlds could come in a random order, with like the last world and the first world always being the same. Things like that. We're going to have to wait and see. But what's great is this new item we see, which is a kitty cat ray, which just spawns kittens. They're adorable, and I love them. But yeah, a lot of takeaways from this. There's a lot of coral in the and starfish and stuff in the environment. We can see this kind of like Japanese pagoda style areas or Chinese style architecture here, one of the two. And we see like spikes off in the top right there that are like little pines, like undersea urchins. Back in the mines area, we see this crazy looking lizard guy, which I just love the look of him. And another arrow trap shoots out. We have a jetpack, presumably in the first world. This is already OP run. But yeah, this lizard guy jumps up. I assume he jumped up when he sees you, not because the tiki trap arrow is coming at you. But you know, we can believe that this guy has like Neo sense and jumped out of the way of the arrow. But yeah, cool thing here, he turns in this rolling ball. You can jump on the ball and not take damage. It doesn't hurt him, but it doesn't hurt you, which is cool. I've seen a lot of that so far in this gameplay, which is really cool. It just gives more options for getting out of sticky situations, which sometimes it feels like there aren't a lot of options in the original Spelunky. This area, I'm gonna guess, is actually the black market. So this is one thing that really stuck out to me. There's a lot of gold bugs around. We see the little coat hanger store, which implies there's like a clothing store, which is really cool. And we see a shopkeeper climbing up this ladder here. Something to note here. Sorry, I'm just, again, stream of consciousness here, so bear with me. This shopkeeper appears to have a regular shotgun, whereas that other shopkeeper had like one with like a silver ring around the trigger. So I first thought that might be like a shopkeeper's shotgun, but maybe it's something else. Maybe it was part of that weapon store. I don't know. But yeah, shopkeeper combat is returning. Also, didn't notice it. I mean, everything looks beautiful. I love the look of this, like the new art style. Just, again, based on the previous one, but kind of refreshed. The fire here looks awesome. I just think it looks great all around. I get fucking sniped by that shopkeeper. Rafi the Sloth is probably my new favorite character. He's perfect, and I love him. And that's really all you need to know. Cool thing here, we see that bow. We saw it very briefly earlier on. Shoot the arrow. It looks kind of like a crossbow here also. I don't know if it looked like a crossbow before or like an actual bow and arrow before. I assume the crossbow probably shoots further if there is two separate items that do that, but we don't know yet. Shoots an arrow, and then you can jump on the arrow and keep going. Again, a lot to unpack in this very quick section here. See bat in the upper left corner. Big thing, the crossbow now no longer has an arrow. So I assume you'll be able to collect your arrows if they get stuck in the environment, but I don't know. We see the monkeys with their golden hands and golden tails. They look very cute. And again, more tiki guys. Also, like piles of grass on the floor could be like traps or things like that. I'm not sure yet. Here we see another golden idol trap. These are all great. I love all of them from the original Spelunky. I'm glad that we got to see like a bunch of them here, and some new traps here. These little mossy stone blocks with skulls on them. If you stand near them, I assume from any side, spikes will creep out and then pop out, much like the tiki traps in the jungle and Spelunky 1. Yeah, you can see he goes from one side here to another, and they pop out. And oh man, I didn't even realize what was going on in that second round. But yeah, again, it's really just kind of showcasing this trap here, but him getting out of it. So this is just a whole lot going on here. I think this is a pretty brief shot, but so we're gonna stick on it for a second. Blood Moon in the background, totally new area. No idea what's going on here. We got these snake idols like kind of carved into the reliefs on the ground and everything. There's a man, I forgot about this giant snake too. There's a jumping pad which was in the ice caves in Spelunky 1. You see this giant snake coming out here. I don't know if it's chasing you. I don't know if it's a thing that's just in the level. And then we see these creepy looking four-legged creatures in the upper right and the bottom right from earlier as well. There's also a turkey in the bottom right there. But yeah, you can see there's the creepy little four-legged, like long-nosed, maned monsters. But yeah, that snake, super scary. Again, like just a lot more hazards, a lot more creatures, monsters and things of the like, which is really cool. There was not enough of that in Spelunky, I think. Or at least there was a lot of it in Spelunky, but it seems like they've bumped everything up to infinity. Here's when we see these little robot guys again. We see a caveman riding a turkey, which is just great. You knock on these little robot guys, and then... Oh, okay. I was wondering why she dropped the turkey into there. But yeah, then they eventually blow up. You see the turkey is then cooked. I didn't notice that. I wonder if that's you can kill a turkey via an explosion, maybe a bomb or an enemy, and it cooks the turkey. And then you can eat that and maybe get health back. Who knows? Here we see this watery area again, very briefly. A lot going on here. It looks like there's some kind of explosive in the bottom right here. It doesn't look like a bomb, though, which is cool. We also see a fish, like a flying fish, it looks like. I bet those things will jump out of the water just going off the wings that they have, and a chest and a zombie in the bottom area there. But what's cool here is the fish is totally ignoring you versus the piranhas from... oh, yeah, you can see it flap its wings right there. You know it's going to fly at some point. But yeah, the piranhas would always like beeline for you anytime you got in water with piranhas. They were the only watery, the skeleton piranhas and regular piranhas were the only watery creatures in Spelunky 1. So seeing a fish that just like is just kind of doing its own thing, kind of like Mario style, is really cool. Oh, we're about to see that fish fly too. Also worth noting that this zombie is walking on the ceiling here. So it's like totally independent. It might be like kind of attached to it, which is cool. But here's where I mentioned at the very beginning the water physics. You can see the fish is about to fly here too. It looked like it was. Oh, but I guess the water going is what stopped it. But yeah, we see water physics. The water goes down. The zombie jumps from left to right on that ceiling. But yeah, we can kind of go with the water here, which is really, really cool. And we see the water fills up the area. Like, it doesn't disappear. It just goes somewhere. So it fills up this little pool here. We obviously get killed by the spikes here. It's kind of covered by the splashes, but it looks like you get killed by the spikes. Colin Northward, I assume the son of the blue guy from Spelunky 1. He's adorable. I love him. And you can see this area is underwater as well. I didn't really notice before. Let's scrub back if it shows like different worlds in the background each time. Yeah, so it's showing like the hell world here. Showing the jungle world here. In the background again. Showing the cave world here. Okay, that's really cool. And showing the watery world here. And again, I'm just playing in QuickTime Player. Apologies, everyone. I know it's no professional setup. But yeah, I think this is most of the new stuff that we see. This is a third kind of jetpack. It is the teleporter, it looks like, but it sits on your back, which is pretty cool. Jump up and then teleport down. Again, in hell, or the hell-like area. We've seen this area before. It looks like it might not be a hidden area here because we're showing off a lot of it. But yeah, classic Spelunky move of jump up, and then teleport down. Risky move, but it can pay dividends if you're trying to speedrun. Ooh, I didn't notice this before. We got the caveman here, and then like a sumo-looking caveman with his mouth all wide. He looks great, and as soon as he sees you, he like runs toward you. He's wobbling a little slow though. Maybe he's like harder to kill or heavier or hits you harder or tosses you or something. That's cool. Here we see a little bit of that alien tech that we see in the ice caves and then in the alien mothership, another secret level in Spelunky 1. We see this big drill going down through the area. I don't know how that activates or how that starts, but it's really cool. Hear it crash into something or feel it crash into something. It goes all the way down, I guess. Holy crap. But big thing here that I notice that I do want to bring up, this fall, it seems very, very long. It's way longer than... The level seems way taller than anything in Spelunky 1. Right about here, this layer, usually it's like either 4 rows, like kind of like 4x4 columns or squares, or 3 rows of level, and that was like the most a level could have in Spelunky, save for the ice caves, which would be like 2 or 3 or 4 rows, and then the chasm at the bottom. But this is very long, and it keeps going and it keeps going. Also, I like little visual indicator here. There's like a feeling you get, like a vibration kind of almost, if you're about to take fall damage in Spelunky 1. And you get a kind of a sense for how far you can fall. But here you see his animation change from falling to like hands flapping in the air and whatnot. So I assume that implies, okay, you've reached the height of falling that you're going to take fall damage from, which I think is really cool. But yeah, a lot of falling, and that's not even the end of it. This is like all wall left and right here. So maybe there are some levels where you can drill down far below where you're supposed to go, which is really cool. We're back in the cave here. I believe this guy rolling over here is that big caveman boss guy that we saw being bombed to death from earlier, kind of rolling like a Sonic the Hedgehog character. I wonder if these cats are like damsels also, since you're rescuing it. You're picking it up. But yeah, this caveman guy's just going. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. And we see a little arrowhead or arrow shaft at the bottom there, also implying that arrow trap shot its shot already. Again, we see here just a lot of mechanics thrown at us. Jumping, double jumping with the mount, lava pouring into this shopkeeper's room. It's also a shopkeeper with the fist. I don't know what that means. Just like the coat hanger, I'm not quite sure what the different shops are in this game. Could be hand weapons or like climbing gloves, things that go on your hands, things like that. I assume there's going to be way, way, way more items here. And we've already seen a lot of returning items, so it implies there's going to be a lot more on top of that. But yeah, we see the double jump with the turkey, and then jumping off the turkey, and the turkey gets turned into cooked turkey. Here we see a monkey riding on your back here, and then a bunch more monkeys, and then fall damage, and then jumping off. Here is this is the part I have not looked at a lot. A lot of stuff going on. Very quick shot here, but we see 2 ghosts. One sad, like the one that normally comes at the end of the level. One happy. And it's also a dark level, which kind of completes the speculation that dark levels are back, right? But yeah, these 2 ghosts seem to be moving in a little bit of a different pattern here. I'm not really sure what's going on. But one might be moving a little bit faster. The smiley guy might be looking faster. There's really only one instance where you could get 2 ghosts to appear on the screen in Spelunky 1, and that was by waiting the 2-minute and 30-second like time limit of a level, and 1 ghost shows up. And then in the jungle, if you grab the white crystal idol, it will summon another ghost instantaneously. It was the only time in the jungle to get a ghost to show up. So seeing 2 ghosts on the screen is pretty big. I don't know what's going on here. There might be more ways to summon ghosts and things like that. Obviously, they instantly kill you if you touch them, if you didn't know. Here we're in that watery area again, but there's a ton of lava here. What I do like is that lava doesn't necessarily destroy areas or an environment. And this seems like maybe an instance level, like one of those special levels. Kind of like the castle or the worm or the mothership in Spelunky 1. We see kind of like an urchin-looking creature on the right here on this little Chinese dragon or Japanese dragon style column. I think it's Chinese. I don't know for sure. I'm sure the comments will rip me apart. And explosions going off up top and running from lava. And then we see here the little lamp, the like round lamp here explodes as well. And then we see lava crashing in on all sides, and the end. And I love that's how the trailer ends. Obviously, I think that's a situation you're not really going to get out of. All we get here is a coming 2019. I love Spelunky a ton. I hope that my experience with Spelunky kind of speaks from all of what I know about its mechanics in this demonstration. I am so excited to see Spelunky 2. I was expecting it. Like I anticipated that there would be a Spelunky 2. I know a lot of people didn't because Spelunky 1 is basically perfect. And anyone who loves Spelunky 1, like the big Spelunky 1 proponents out there, tend to agree on that. So it's like, what do you do to make that better? All I really wanted from a Spelunky 2, again, anticipating it, was more Spelunky, more secrets. Like, the best part about Spelunky is, like, getting to hell and uncovering all the little secrets and gameplay mechanics you have to kind of engage with in order to get there. And the secret worlds and all that, and seeing everything. It's Spelunky 1 is phenomenal, and this seems to be no slouch. I am just so excited to see and hear more about this. I'm going to be playing this weekend. I will no doubtedly be writing a preview about it on irrationalpassions.com, so you can keep it locked there. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you like this. If you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments. Subscribe, and I will be waiting along with the rest of you for Spelunky 2 to come out in 2019.